Have you ever wondered if there's like a secret formula for giving the perfect answer? A way to structure your thoughts when you're under pressure that's so good it almost feels like you're reading from a script? Well, today we're going to dive into exactly that. We're going to deconstruct a guide for one of the world's most high-stakes language tests to see if we can uncover the blueprint for the perfect answer.
So, we're going to start with a story. It's a simple, pretty heartwarming story about a family meal. Honestly, it's the kind of personal little story we've probably all told at some point. Just take a second and think about it for yourself. Who cooked it? What was the big occasion? How did it actually make you feel? Okay, you got something in your head? Good. Now listen to this answer and see how it stacks up. That's a pretty strong opening, right? It's super clear, it's personal, and it just instantly creates this warm, nostalgic feeling. We know who it's about, Nani. We know when it happened. It feels really authentic. And now we're getting to the good stuff, the meal itself, the specific dish, the reason she made it. It all comes down to love. It's these kinds of details that really make a story feel personal and real, isn't it? And right here, this is the emotional heart of it. The speaker connects the food directly to these deep feelings of being loved and cherished. Notice that pivot? It's not just about what they ate, it's about how it felt. That's the real core of the story. And that's a beautiful way to wrap it up. It ties everything together, leaving you with this powerful feeling of family and connection and a memory that will last forever. It's a perfect little story. Almost a little too perfect. So it's time to pull back the curtain. Because what if I told you that this really heartwarming, personal story wasn't all that personal? What if I told you it was designed? That's right. The whole story about Nani's cooking, it's a pre-written model answer. It's basically a template for what the perfect personal story is supposed to sound like in a very specific, very high-stakes situation. And this is where it comes from. It's a sample answer from a really popular guide for the IELTS exam. And this book, it's absolutely filled with dozens of these so-called personal stories. For millions of people, a good score on the IELTS test is literally the key that unlocks the door to a university or to moving to a new country. So the pressure is just immense. And in situations with that much pressure, people tend to look for a formula. So that got us thinking, if this story is a formula, then what is the formula? We dug through the guide and we kind of reverse engineered what we think is the blueprint for the perfect answer. And it seems to boil down to 4 key steps. The formula itself is actually pretty simple. You've got 4 main parts. Follow the structure, choose safe content, use scoring language, and finally, inject emotion. So let's break down exactly how that Nani story totally nails this blueprint. First up, structure. The IELTS test gives you prompts, and the perfect answer hits every single one of them, usually in order. The Nani story does this flawlessly. It's like a checklist. Who? Nani. When? Last summer. What? The song. How you felt. Loved. Tick, 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 tick. There are no wasted words. Next step, the content is always safe. The topics in this guide are things literally anyone can relate to, and they're always positive. Family, travel, learning, getting an award. There's nothing controversial or complicated here. They're just really easy to talk about and pretty hard to mess up. Okay, step 3, and this one's a big one, the language. See, this isn't just about telling a story. It's about showing off your vocabulary. The guide strategically drops in these higher-level phrases, what we're calling scoring language, that are specifically designed to catch an examiner's ear. Okay, so the Nani story fits the formula perfectly. But, maybe it's just a coincidence, right? Let's test our blueprint on another model answer from the very same guide and see what happens. Let's take a look at this story about learning Sudoku from a YouTube video. You know what? It follows the exact same pattern. It answers every prompt, check. The topic, learning a new skill, is super safe and positive, check. It uses that scoring language, like that exaggeration about only math geniuses, check. And it injects that perfect little dose of emotion, it made my day, check. The formula holds up, it's a system. So here's the really important part. This is about more than just a strategy for taking a test. This is a really fascinating look at how we all communicate when the stakes are high. And to be clear, there's real value in this. I mean, think about a job interview or a public speech or, a huge exam. Having a mental blueprint can be a lifesaver. It helps you organize your thoughts and deliver a really compelling message, especially when you're nervous. It's a real skill. But here's the question that kind of sticks with you. If we all start using a formula to tell our most personal stories, what happens to authenticity? Does the performance of being personal start to replace the real thing?
And that just leaves us with one final thought. When we polish our stories and we choose the safest topics and we inject just the perfect amount of emotion, are we actually communicating better? Or are we just getting better at performing for an audience? It really makes you wonder, who are we performing for anyway?